Popular Culture Research Team. How can I help you? And back joining us in the studio for Popular Culture Research Team is Eugene's Eugene. Eugene, hello to you.
Hi guys, happy Friday.
Happy Friday. We had Tsukasa who said he misses you singing. Remember how you used to sing every week? It's less stressful for her because she was actually...
A little bit stressful,
She used to
be honest.
I have to respect her so much for this. She knows she had to sing. So she would practice and over and over again.
True, guys, for you. And
That's
you
right.
also rapped a lot, right?
I did rap a lot.
I respect that too.
And I had no lyrics. It was all freestyle. Anyways, believe it or not, we are already at the final episode of Prison Playbook. This is incredible. Let's dive into this.
Okay, so this is our last time talking about the drama. And last week, we covered some really interesting topics like the culture of supporting inmates known as 옥바라지 and the Korean tendency to ask personal background questions. And today, we're going to talk about something much more relatable.
I actually forgot to ask you this last week when we talked about 옥바라지.
옥바라지?
If you've ever had a boyfriend that was in prison, would you 옥바라지? Or you break up with them?
Depends on his crime,
Right?
maybe.
It is depending on the crime, right? If it's like him, our main character.
I can do 옥바라지 for him.
Exactly. But if it's something like naughty stuff, then you got to break up with them. All right, so what are we going to talk about this time?
Okay, so our first topic today is how serious Koreans are about food.
Yes.
So in the drama, there's a very interesting scene where one of the inmates nicknamed 문내동 카이스트 tries to recreate a dish that doesn't even exist in prison, of course.
No.
He wants to make something similar to bibimbap, which is a popular Korean cold spicy noodle dish. But since he doesn't have the proper ingredients, he gets very, very creative. He takes instant ramen noodles and softens them using soda instead of hot water. Then he mixes in the seasoning powder, dried vegetable flakes, plum tea powder, and even adds sesame oil. It sounds like a very strange combination, but in the scene, all the inmates taste it and are genuinely impressed by how good it is. And what's interesting is that after the episode aired, many people in real life actually tried recreating this recipe at home. So it became a kind of viral creative recipe showing how Koreans enjoy experimenting with food, even in unexpected ways.
So this one was an interesting one because I don't know if this was created just for the drama or people in prison were actually doing this.
I don't think so.
Right? But the one thing that I remember is before TikTok blew up, before Instagram blew up, this drama came out. So many people tried to make their own prison bibimbap. Yeah, using this bibimbap recipe. And the results were actually surprising. They said it was pretty good. It was pretty good.
They're all good cook.
Yeah, and so before trying everything that's on television became viral, Koreans were already trying. They probably saw this and were like, I want to try this. Right? And it doesn't cost a lot. And also, it's very Korean. It reflects something about Korean food culture.
Exactly. So, and this kind of thing happens quite often in Korea. When a unique or creative recipe appears in a drama or a TV show, it can quickly go viral. So people enjoy trying it, modifying it, and sharing their own versions online. So, food culture in Korea is very interactive and constantly evolving.
I have a feeling, I feel like Koreans are very creative using the same recipes because they also get tired of things very quickly.
Oh, right.
And so they go, I don't want to eat the same thing over and over again. I don't want to see the same thing over and over again. Let me see how creative I can get with certain things.
That makes sense.
Right. I want to ask all of our listeners out there, what kind of food you saw in movies or dramas that were made uniquely that you want to try? I want to ask you this because this is a very famous food combination that went viral since we're talking about noodles.
You're talking about 짜파구리.
Yes, we are.
So it's a mix of two different instant noodles, 짜파게티 and 너구리. So this combination became popular through a TV show and later gained global attention after appearing in the movie Parasite. So it's a perfect example of how Koreans enjoy mixing different food to create something new. So So people all around the world are uploading their videos making this 짜파구리 recipe on social media.
Have you ever had chapaguri?
Not yet.
You never had it?
You did?
Oh, yes.
Oh, really? How was that?
You have to understand, guys, chapaguri was not famous in Korea only because of parasites. It became famous worldwide because of parasites. But do you know the show that it got famous from?
Yes. Can I?
Yes.
아빠 어디가?
아빠 어디가? Have you ever watched that?
Yeah. All the episodes. I love that.
That I was married. This was before I had kids, and I really enjoyed this. Do you remember who made this? It was
김성주.
Kim Sung-ju, and he made it for Yoon-hoo, who is Yoon Min-soo's son. And Yoon Min-soo's son, Yoon-hoo, he had like no teeth in the front. And so the way that he eats it is like always on the side.
Right.
But the way that he eats it, it's so cute and delicious. And so everyone said, oh my goodness, I need to follow that recipe. And it's very simple. By the way, it's with no soup.
No soup.
No soup. So you're basically eating the jjajangmyeon, but it's a spicy version of jjajangmyeon.
True.
You've never had this?
I've never had this.
You know,
Wow,
the thing
I
is,
have
you
to.
can't have it by yourself.
Why?
Because it requires the 2 noodles.
Maybe I can try 2 noodles.
Oh, yeah, okay. If you could finish 2 noodles. I mean, I could finish 2 noodles. But I didn't know you could finish 2 noodles. You can finish 2 noodles?
Oh, so did you add like beef on it?
No.
Not the version of Parasite?
No, because
okay. Got it.
when the Parasite version came out, I was like, I already had that. It wasn't new. I saw this many, many years ago. And so, like, it was, I mean, I like it's good. It's very good.
I'll go try it.
Speaking of noodles, Eugene, or ramyeon, I feel like they are a big part of this culture.
Definitely. So Korea has a huge variety of ramen, and people rarely eat them in just one standard way. Many people mix different brands together or add extra ingredients like cheese, eggs, or rice. Some even turn like simple convenience store food into a full meal by combining multiple items. So I think there's a strong culture of customizing and upgrading food. It's almost like cooking, even when you're using instant products.
I told you, Koreans get tired of things very easily. They always want something new. Look how quickly Jungkook got out of style.
And 탕후루 as well.
탕후루 got out of style. You need something trendy very, very quickly. But for me, when I was growing up, ramen was only just egg. If you want to put a little bit more on it, just the egg. I came to Korea.
I know the simple is the best.
Right. I mean, that's how I eat it. But when I came to Korea and then they started putting cheese, I was like, ew. And then I tried it. It's good. It's good.
It's really good. It's really good.
It's good. It's not even, well, you could put mozzarella cheese, but just the yellow cheese. American cheese.
American cheese. And there are a lot of types of ramen, like 떡라면.
떡라면.
Or like, what else? 오뎅라면, 어묵라면.
Do you have a favorite?
치즈라면.
Cheese ramen.
Cheese.
It's just like you just put a slice of cheese on top and you let it melt. And how do you eat it? Do you just mix it?
No,
You're not supposed to mix it.
I don't mix it all.
You're supposed to pick up the noodle so that it takes the cheese
Right.
and then bite into it. Do you know there's another thing that that people started to do that was using creativity, but it was in the military? I think this is really, really creative. Let's talk about this.
Yes, that's a great example. So in the Korean military, there's a famous way of cooking noodles called 뽀글이. So instead of using a pot, soldiers could cook noodles directly inside a plastic bag or package by pouring hot water into it. It's a practical method, but also shows how people adapt to their environment. And we're also having like video, right?
Yeah, we have a video of how a 뽀글이 ramyeon is made.
Look at that.
So you put the soup,
And water.
hot water.
Mix it.
You take it. Where's the jjigae? Where's the pin? Oh, using
Use just chopstick.
That's right, using the
How
chopstick.
creative you are.
Look at that.
Look at that.
But the only thing with that though is that the noodle it's rather firm. Right?
Yes, and some people like overcooked noodles, and some people like al dente or something.
Al dente? No,
Al
al dente is the right. Yeah, al dente is the right term.
Because they cannot pour a lot of water in it, so people have to eat like al dente version of ramen
Yeah,
here.
using al dente over ramyeon is next level thing right now. What kind of ramyeon do you prefer?
Al dente.
Al dente, 뽀글이.
For sure.
Like I like it al dente. It has to be a little bit firm because it's going to be in the soup for a while and then it gets softer and softer and softer. There's another kind.
It's called 건빵 porridge, where soldiers crush hard biscuits and mix them with milk to create a simple meal. And so these kinds of creative food ideas almost feel like part of Korean culture. You know the 건빵 porridge?
Yes, I've heard of that. The funny thing is the 뽀글이 ramen that we see, it's something that you see in like American prisons. That's how they make ramen. Really? They also they have ramen too. But they do something similar. And of course, with all of this, Korea is very famous for what's called mukbang.
True, mukbang or eating broadcasts. It started in Korea and became very popular both domestically and internationally. So people watch others eat large amounts of food while interacting with viewers. And through mukbang, new food ideas and recipes spread even faster. So media and food culture are very closely connected in Korea.
So whether you're in prison, you're in military, or even online, food always seems to play a big role.
Yes, that's true. So no matter the situation, Koreans tend to find ways to enjoy food and make it more interesting. And that's why scenes like this in the drama feel so relatable to Korean viewers. And I think that reflects an important part of Korean culture.
All right, we'll continue to talk about other cultural elements within Prison Playbook. But first, this is New Jeans with Cookie. Back in the studio for Popular Culture Research Team, we're in our final episode of Prison Playbook. We talked about how Koreans can get very creative with food. What are we going to talk about next?
Okay, so our second topic today comes from another important aspect of the drama. So Prison Playbook doesn't only focus on inmates, but also on prison officers.
That's right.
And while watching the show, there are many scenes when you actually start to feel sympathy for them because they often have to deal with verbal abuse, insults, and constant tension from inmates.
I mean, I told you before, I watched a lot of prison-related movies, and except for Shawshank Redemption, where the prison officers have just too much power, other dramas and movies you watch it, and it's a tough job. And, even watching Prison Playbook makes you realize it's not an easy job at all.
Not at all. And that leads us to our topic today, the human rights of criminals and suspects in Korea. So in Korea, there is a strong emphasis on protecting the rights of suspects, even in serious criminal cases. This is closely connected to the legal principle known as the presumption of innocence. It means that a person is considered innocent until proven guilty in court. So because of that, the system tries to be very careful about how suspects are treated.
Yeah, so I think for a lot of our listeners tuning in from abroad, you might feel very confused when you see all these criminal cases where why is this person the criminal or suspect, I should say, suspect, A something, B something. And pictures are hidden, and they got masks, and they got, they hide, their identities and stuff like that. So even for serious crimes, there are strict rules.
Very strict. For example, in many cases, suspects are not publicly identified when they are transferred to prosecutors. You'll often see them wearing masks, hats, or being physically shielded from cameras, and their faces are usually not revealed unless the case meets very specific legal conditions. There is actually a review process before authorities can decide whether to disclose a suspect's face.
So the media can't just show their face freely.
They can't. The idea is to prevent potential harm, especially if the person turns out to be innocent.
Right.
It also helps protect the suspect's family from social backlash or secondary harm. So even though it may feel frustrating to the public, the system is designed to prioritize fairness and caution.
So, this is, again, like you said, it reflects the broader emphasis on human rights in Korean society, but, there's always an argument for this.
Right.
And I think the biggest one is the secondary harm. So, let's say, I did something terrible. I was going to say Eugene did something terrible, but that's not going to happen. I did something terrible, right? And so if my face goes out, what's going to happen? My son, who just recently got into elementary school, people are going to be like, hey, I saw your dad on the news. I heard he, did blah, blah, blah. I heard he sold some hamburgers and got arrested. What a terrible way to get arrested for hamburgers, really? Things like that. And so that's the secondary harm. Aaron didn't do anything wrong, But now
Not at all.
everyone is they're gonna basically, they might bully him. You know, parents might go, don't play with Aaron because his
Right.
dad's a criminal.
Blame the whole family.
Right? And so, but they did nothing wrong. And so that's one of the major reasons for why they
true.
do this. But again, this is something that's very controversial and a lot of people still debate over this.
That's correct. Some people argue that the system focuses too much on protecting the human rights of suspects rather than supporting victims. And there is growing criticism that victims' emotional recovery and rights are sometimes overlooked. So this has become an ongoing debate in Korean society. It's a difficult balance between like protecting human rights of suspects and delivering a sense of justice.
They were kind of saying like you know, they should protect the identity of what is it, the police officers or like the people arresting the people, because what if they get secondary harm, which is why you see like in Mexico with these police officers who arrest these cartel members, they're covered in masks because they don't want revenge. Obviously in Korea it's less of that, but the whole idea that they're protecting the suspect more than everyone around involved with the case is the big controversy. But also, this is all slippery slope, but I've heard cases where the public takes matter into their own hands.
Yes, that has happened as well. So there have been online platforms where individuals try to expose the identities of criminals. They're often called netizen police. And this kind of behavior reflects public frustration with the system. They try to figure out the identities or like backgrounds of criminals or suspects and expose them anonymously. But at the same time, it also raises serious concerns about privacy and also misinformation. So it's like a very sensitive and complex issue.
The biggest example of this, I don't know if you remember this, Eugene, but you know when COVID started,
Yes.
when COVID-19 started,
I know what you're talking about.
and there was only like a handful of cases here and there. And so they were looking for patient zero, the person that
right.
started the COVID in Korea. And because people were upset, right? And so they said, this is patient zero. And it was a picture of a middle-aged woman, and it spread everywhere.
Right. I remember that.
And it turned out it was not her.
Oh, what a tragic.
Right? So it's things like this. Like, yeah, you try to be a netizen police, but, you know, you got the wrong person.
It's like a misinformation.
It's
like,
massive lawsuits then. I mean, it's defamation, all of that. And you're basically potentially ruining a person.
And also, no one holds responsibility for that. Right.
Exactly. Exactly. Right? Maybe it was someone that looked like me. And then they're like, oh my goodness, I saw this one guy. I think he was saying something on the lines of nuclear bombs. It was Kim Jong-un. It's SJ. No, it wasn't. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. Stuff like that. You know, I might look like that person, get falsely accused. That's not the way it goes. And even the way that crimes are named has changed since it's a very sensitive issue in Korea.
Yes, that's another interesting shift. So in the past, criminal cases in Korea were often named after the victims. For example, if I were the victim, and you were the perpetrator, the case might have been called the YJ case.
Yes.
But over time, people began to criticize this practice, saying it could cause additional harm to the victim and their family. So nowadays, cases are more often referred to by the name of the perpetrator instead. So it changed from the YJ case to the SJ case. So like this change reflects a growing awareness of protecting victims from, like further trauma.
So a very good example of this, which I never really understood, is, do you remember the Nayoungi case, right, in Ansan? Right, I'm not going to go into it deeply, but the case had her name over Cho Do-sun, who was the criminal, right, who spent years and he's out now, and the crime being named after a child rather than the criminal. It's just
Doesn't
weird.
make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense. Now, granted, there are now laws named after kids, right? Because of a accident and the victim was that child, and in the memory of the child, they make a law. I think that's okay. But
this
crime?
case,
But a case? big controversy. So overall, it seems like Korea is still trying to find the right balance.
Exactly. So the system continues to evolve as society becomes more aware of both human rights and victims' needs. It's not a simple issue, of course, and there are strong opinions on both sides. And I think that's why topics like this appear in dramas like Prison Playbook. They help people think about justice, fairness, and what kind of society we want to live in.
Again, I know this is a very controversial topic, but ladies and gentlemen, if you guys have your opinions on the matter, should criminals be outed, or suspects, I should say, suspects be outed, their information. But although in Korea, though, the suspect's face does come out in major cases. It has to be hit certain criterias. So like murder cases, things like that, right? Recently there was a serial murder, a girl. And so her face came out. But other than that, other smaller stuff, their faces don't come out, their names don't come out, none of that stuff come out. And the whole idea that maybe they're protecting the suspects a little too much is the big argument here. All right, we'll continue to talk about other hidden cultural elements within this very drama, the Prison Playbook. But first, this is Shiny with Clue and Note Sherlock. Man, we're just talking about these crimes. If you guys, anybody that are interested in Korean crime stuff, I had a YouTube channel that I did with Walter for a bit, and we stopped after baby number 2 came out. Kimchi Crime Podcast, guys, check it out. Let's go into our final topic for today. What do you have for us?
So our last topic is about something interesting in Korean culture. It's about superstitions related to bad luck and good fortune. So in the drama, there's a scene where a prison officer hears something unpleasant from an inmate, and another officer jokingly tells him to wash his ears to get rid of the bad energy. It may look like a small moment, but it actually reflects a very familial cultural habit in Korea.
That's so interesting. I always thought this was funny. I know there's a lot of superstitions, but it's kind of like if I go, Eugene, something happened, and it's not going to be good, and so you don't like that, and so someone's going to go, Eugene, go wash your ear to take out the bad, and you'll actually go in there and just put water in your ear and wash it out, thinking it'll help out. Are you superstitious?
A little bit.
You're little stitious? You're little stitious? What is one superstition you really believe, like a Korean superstition?
It's related to funeral thing. I'm going to talk about later.
Oh, okay. We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
Do you believe this was something that I was taught ever since I was a kid? Writing your name in red pen.
Oh, I know that superstition.
You don't do that, right?
I don't do that. I don't write my name in red.
In Korea, guys, you never write your name in red. You never write your name in red, okay? It's for the dead, let's say, so you never do this. So, are there any similar habits?
Oh, yeah, there are quite a few. So, for example, after saying something negative or unlucky, people sometimes make a small spitting sound, like... It's not actual. It's not actual spitting, of course, but more like a symbolic way of pushing bad luck away. Some people do this after saying things like, what if something goes wrong? Oh, no. Like this.
Like someone's about to get married, right? And they're having an outdoor wedding. I go, what if it rains? And you go, making sure that doesn't happen.
That doesn't happen.
You're going to talk about the funeral. This is something that I believe. I kind of believe, which is why I do this. Let's talk about this.
Okay. So this is another very common example in Korea. So after attending a funeral, many Koreans sprinkle salt on their body before entering their home.
Okay.
So I actually went to a funeral yesterday, and I also sprinkled salt on myself. So salt has long been seen as something that purifies and cleanses negative energy. So this act is meant to remove any lingering bad energy from the funeral. Some people also stop by a crowded place like a supermarket before going home. So the idea is that places full of people and energy have strong positive vibe. So by passing through those spaces, they believe they can shake off negative energy. So it's a very traditional belief, and many people still follow it today, including me.
Yeah, so I learned this from my wife.
Oh.
And so you could do one or the other, right? So we stopped doing the salt because we didn't want salt in our entrance of our house. And so what I usually do is at the first floor of our apartment complex, we have a big convenience store. I just go in there.
Oh, instead of supermarket, you go into
it's a convenience store. You just have to go where there are other people. And I remember I went to a funeral. Parent of one of the producers that we all knew, he passed away, and we all went. And one of the 작가님's writers that I knew from television days, I drove her to the funeral, and then I was driving her back. And she lives close to Arirang.
Oh.
And so I was like, well, I could drop you off at Arirang. It's not a big deal. And she goes, no. Drop me off at the 고속버스 terminal station.
Oh, with a lot of people?
Yeah, so I was like, well, I could drop you off by your. I was like, are you afraid? I know where you live. She's like, no. I've known her for like forever. I've known her for like 15 years, and she goes, no, I'm gonna just take the train like one stop, and just get, because it's the idea, not only the negative energy. But if you go to a funeral, there's a lot of dead people.
Right,
and so,
that's
like,
the point.
if a ghost hops on your body, or you carry a ghost to your house, but when you go where there's like a lot of lights and a lot of people, they just kind of get lost and they don't go with you.
Right.
Is the idea.
That's the concept.
That's the concept. So that's why I go to the convenience store, and I just kind of like roam around and I'm like, oh, they don't have the sandwich that I want. Better go home and leave this ghost behind. Bye. 안녕히 계세요. 안녕히 계세요. And then I bet you though, but you know what the funny thing is?
What is that?
Is I bet you that the convenience store 사장님, the owner, I bet you she's very suspicious because she's like, why is it that every time he's dressed in black, he never buys anything?
Especially you're in black.
I'm in black. I'm in a black suit. She's probably like, why is it that he never buys anything every time he wears all black? So that's what it is.
Right.
But again, Koreans believe quite strongly in these kind of superstitions.
So true. And food also plays a role in these beliefs. For example, after being released from prison, people often eat tofu in front of the prison gate. The white color of tofu represents like purity and a fresh start. So it carries the message of living a clean and honest life from that point on. So tofu symbolizes both a new beginning. It's a simple food, but it carries a strong message. And that's something you see quite often in Korean culture, simple things that carry deeper meanings.
Yeah, so in every movie, drama, or even in real life, when people are waiting outside of the prison gates to wait for whatever, they always have a thing of tubu. And you have to eat it right away.
Right, in front of the gate.
Yes, and so the famous thing is what is it? 친절한 금자씨, Lady Vengeance, right? Where she, they gave her the tubu, and she's like, 너나 잘하세요. Right? So a famous line comes out. Are there also lighter and more playful superstitions?
Yes, so not all superstitions are serious. Some are more like childhood games. For example, in the drama, there's a scene where someone says that if you hold your breath while passing through a long tunnel, your wish will come true. So many Koreans have tried this at least once when they were younger, including me too.
I still do this.
You do this too?
Yeah. When I'm driving, and I actually taught my son this last week.
Oh.
And he was like, he's like, my wish is not going to come true. I was like, this was a really long tunnel. You do it on a short tunnel. Don't do it in a long tunnel. This is a long one. So it's more like fun ritual than actual serious belief then.
Yes, that's true. So in that sense, like superstitions exist in almost every culture, just in different forms. So they may not be based on logic, but they give people a sense of control in uncertain situations, especially when people feel anxious or unsure. These small actions can be comforting. So superstition is more about emotion than belief, and those small details make the story feel more relatable. It's not just about personal life, but more about like human life.
So very quickly here, we just finished this drama. Again, one of my favorite dramas out there. What do you think overall?
I think Prison Playbook was a very unique and meaningful drama because instead of focusing only on crime or punishment, it showed that the human side of people inside the system.
Yeah.
Like, it explored relationships, personal growth, and the complexity of life in a very realistic way. And through different topics like law, culture, food, and even superstition, it gave us a chance to reflect on Korean society. And that's why I think it left such a strong impression on many viewers.
That's right. Eugene, you did a fantastic job
Thank
throughout the month. Next month, we'll have a new drama, and it also happens to be one of my favorite webtoons turned into a drama.
Oh, big hint.
I actually watched this drama twice, too.
Oh, really?
I watched the same thing over and over again. I have a hard time starting new ones. But when I like something, I watch it over and over again. Thank you so much for this. Have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you again next week.
Thank you. See you next Friday. Bye.
And sending her out of the studio, we'll take a listen to an original soundtrack from the Prison Playbook. This is Eric Nam's version of Bravo My Life.